will call a regular meeting for September to order. Please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Trustee Malkowski. Here. Trustee Dilbert.
Here.
Trustee Guerrero. Here. Trustee Nona.
Here.
Trustee Pergoli.
Here.
Trustee Hashem. Here. President Bison.
Here.
Treasurer Sinofsky.
Here.
And Clerk Fitzik is here.
For approval of the agenda, I have a couple of modifications to request. Under unfinished business, residential rental ordinance update, that will be item E. And under new business, item H, Parks and Rec, music in the park request. I believe that's all.
I'll make a motion to accept the agenda with changes as proposed.
It's been moved and doubly supported that we approve the agenda as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Public comments on the agenda. If anybody would like to come up and talk about any of the items on the agenda.
Hello, everyone. Bill Direct, 58415, Pembroke. Just a couple of quick, not so much questions, but concerns. I took Trustee Malkowski's recommendation from the last meeting, made a couple of phone calls for things that were on the agenda, so I can straighten out that time. Thank you, Chief, for taking your time to talk to me. I guess one of my concerns is we have $8.5 million in the bank, and we're making payments on a fire truck. It seems a little weird to me. Paying interest and on a fire truck. Now, there's not much left, I understand that, so one more payment, I think, with only $400 in interest, but it seems a little weird to make payments on a fire truck. There's $8.5 million in the bank. And then my last concern is holiday shutdown. I'm not so sure how I feel about it, but it's a concern that I have. Thank you.
Any other public comment on the agenda? All right, seeing none. Approval of the minutes, regular meeting minutes for August 12th, 2025.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes from August 12th, 2025.
Second.
It's been moved and supported that we approve the regular meeting minutes from August 12th, 2025. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Consent agenda.
I move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Support.
It's been moved and supported that we approve the consent agenda as it is presented. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Payment of the bills, treasurer.
Approval of September 2025 payroll in the amount of $102,801.76, and bills to be paid for September 2025, $1,408,680.42, totaling $1,511,482.18.
So moved.
Support.
It's been moved and supported that we pay our bills in the total amount of $1,511,482.18. Roll call, please.
Trustee Malkowski.
Yes.
Trustee Nona.
Yes.
Trustee Dilbert.
Yes.
Trustee Guerrero. Yes. Trustee Hashem.
Yes.
Trustee Pergoli.
Yes.
President Bison.
Yes. Treasurer's report.
Total village cash assets in the amount of $8,578,115.50.
I'll move to receive and file the treasurer's report.
Support.
It's been moved and supported that we file and receive and file the treasurer's report. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Communication and committee reports. Quick looks on it.
Agenda items for the October meeting are due by October 4th, please.
All right, thank you very much. much. I will put it in my calendar so I can hopefully be on
Sure.
time this time. As I say every month. Planning Commission update, Trustee Gilbert.
Well, the planning commission met last week. We had a couple public hearings for a couple special land use for Macomb Automotive and for Delu Acar Real Estate. And then we went into our regular meeting. The Macomb Auto didn't submit enough information for us to do what we needed to do. So that's being sent back to Macomb Auto. Their site plan was grossly incomplete. And the real estate issue, the real estate company that owns or was in the process of trying to buy the old Rite Aid, I guess something has taken place where that's not going to take place now. So we had to back off of that one also. So those two issues, I'm sure will come back to planning next month.
Parks and Rec update, Trustee Guerrero.
Yeah, a lot of good things happening in Parks and Rec. We are talking about some fall events. We have bowling Saturday, September 20th. They're supposed to sign up for that. Frankenmuth, we actually had to get a second bus because it just sold out really fast. I mean, we got added a second bus to that. That's October 12th at 9 a.m. We have a scarecrow and a business scarecrow contest. This is our third year having it. It's starting to really get pretty filled with businesses getting involved and whatnot. But now we added a scary village house decorations for the village for community, for residents to decorate their houses. We do have prizes involved in that. Talked about extending the stroll and music in the park. That's what President Mason wanted to add something for the agenda because a lot of feedback about we should have had it longer and things like that, which hopefully we will do it for next season. Talked about also getting a nice flyer put together, and we're going to tie up some loose ends as far as dates and stuff, so we're going to get that hopefully out to the community to look at all the events that are coming up.
Great.
So yes, everybody get involved and look on the website and sign up. There's a lot of good things happening in Parks and Rec, so.
Thank you. Unfinished business, priority waste. Brett, did you want to come up and? Yep.
Good evening. My name is Brett Whipper. I'm with Priority Waste and the Manager of Municipal Relations. I know that we have had some challenges over the past month and a half, but I did want to come in and give you an idea of what we've been working on and everything that we've been trying to do. So over the past couple of weeks, we've been working together, and one thing that we came up with is every single pickup day, Friday at the end of Route 37, was called a breadcrumbs report to President Messon. And what it is it basically shows our GPS of where our trucks were and where they were picked up and everything like that. So it's just a breadcrumbs map to make sure that he knows that we were in the area where we were and everything like that. And something that's nice about that is they can see, so if a resident calls in and says, hey, we weren't picked up, we can see that we were there and we can pull our video and say, okay, well, it was a late setup or something like that. Or if it was missed, we know the truck was there, but it was missed, so now we do have to come back. Something else that we have implemented is any misses are picked up first thing the next morning. And yes, I realize that there shouldn't be misses, there shouldn't be many misses, but if they do happen, they're picked up first thing the next morning. And with that said, I'm open to any questions, anything that anyone would like to ask or has any comment on.
I just want to comment that the challenges haven't been in the last month and a half, they've been in the last year
Okay.
that we've had in missed pickups.
Okay. Okay, yeah, I understand that. I was given the account not so long ago, so I've been kind of coming in and working, communicating the best that I can. But it was given to me not so long ago, so I'm just doing the most recent stuff that I can see.
Okay, that's the challenge that we've been dealing with here has been going on for about a year. That's why there's some dependence in the audience for this meeting, because there's been a missed pickups and bad service for over a year.
Yep. Okay, yeah, and like I said, what we've been doing is working on getting the breadcrumbs map, and then making it an initiative that anything that's missed is the first thing the next morning. Instead of just being like, okay, well, we'll get you tomorrow afternoon or something like that. That doesn't work. That's not fair to you, that's not fair to residents. It needs to be the first thing the next morning we've implemented that.
With our pickup day being on Friday, the next morning, Saturday or
Yes.
Monday?
Even to Brett's credit, I mean, even for this past pickup on Saturday, there were 4 misses total. 2 of them were caught during the shift, and they actually went back and picked it up before the end of the day, so they were picked up on Saturday. The other 2 misses we weren't notified about until later in the evening. Forwarded over to Brett and the team. They did come out on Sunday, which admittedly I was impressed that they did come back on Sunday instead of waiting until Monday. I guess my challenge to priority waste, and I know I mentioned it in our emails, is if that breadcrumbs map could be made available in progress. So that when residents do reach out and they say, hey, have they come through or where are they at? You know, if I could go out or if our staff could go out and look, you know, if there was some way of publishing that. And that's something that you would have to take back to the.
Yeah, I would have to take that, because that, I mean, yes, we have it live time, but what you'd be sent is emails, you know, every hour, 2 hours, stuff like that. And obviously our logistic drive coordinators have a lot going on. It's not just strictly.
Well, I mean, even if it was like a secure portal that we could log into to have access to that.
So we are piloting a portal right now where the residents can actually go on the New Haven website as part of priority and put in their own thing instead of calling in and waiting. They can actually put in their own thing and then get an email back with a live update of what's going on. So that's something that we piloted over in Clinton Township, and it's just a pilot right now. So within the next couple of months, it seems to be going very well. That takes away from having to sit on the phone or anything like that. It's set in, and then you get the live update emailed back to you.
And I've noticed for residents that do get through on the phone that they are being told that one of the ways they could communicate with Priority is using the Village of New Haven LDC at prioritywaste.com. So that is something that they can use.
Yes, I know that I have directly intervened in the issues that there were issues with that, and I have made some changes in that, and I think that you've seen the changes that I've made have really helped out, but I did make some changes personally with that email because I feel like it wasn't up to par in what you guys accept, what's acceptable.
Any other questions for Brett?
I just have a statement on there. I mean, this is the second time that a representative from Priorities come to council. My position is words mean nothing anymore. I want to see the garbage getting picked up when it's supposed to be picked up. So the actions that now going forward have to be the way.
Yes.
I mean, it's glad that you have all these programs in place and these contingencies in place, but the garbage has to get picked up when it's supposed to.
Yes. And we have done a couple of can't speak to right now just because it's more internal, but we have been doing some restructuring to make sure that there's not just one yard that's being heavily relied upon. And we are making some changes. We've also acquired 50 new trucks, and we have 40 more coming to alleviate if any certain crew is being overworked and things like that. So we are making progress towards what we need to be making towards. And I think that you will be seeing that. I think the past couple of weeks we've seen that there has been improvement. I think we'll see continuous improvement.
Yeah. Not to belabor the point, but it was actually 3 times.
What's that?
That Priority Waste has been here.
2 or 3, yeah.
Yeah, 3 times. We have general counsel and then Brett's been here twice.
This is my first time since I've taken over the account. I was here.
I thought you were here.
I was here when Dan was here, but yeah. So this is since really taking over the account.
Yeah. So, yeah, no, I mean, to give you credit, I mean, the past few weeks it has been better. And this past Saturday's pickup was went well. You know, we had the 4 misses. One of the residents that was missed is in the audience, and it was picked up, the next morning. So, at least that is a success story, I'd say. you know, we need this to continue, we need it to be sustainable.
And the litmus test isn't when the microscope is on, I mean, it's all the other times.
Don't worry, I'll have him on the microscope because my house, the driver said, is not even on his route. And I'm right on Main Street.
So,
Where it goes from the Seaford house. They go down Pine Street, back up to Clark, back around.
we can work with that to make sure that that's addressed.
Do you have a date that you guys internally have set that by this date, we're gonna have all of our ducks in a row?
Well, I mean, so when we're talking ducks in a row, so we're talking the restructuring. And I can't speak 100% to that because the restructuring, it doesn't necessarily have to do with my merit 100%. But I believe in, I don't want to speak saying that, you know, I think, because that doesn't do any good for you guys, me just saying I think. But I know that we now have 50 new trucks and we have 40 more coming by the end of October. And that's going to be going, part of them are going to be going into the yard that currently services New Haven. Part of them are going to different yards around the area.
Okay.
I wish I could give you more information. I don't want to tell you and I think, and then, you know, then you guys say, oh, well, you told me this. I don't want to be put in that position.
Last time someone was in that position, they said last October, so everything would be smooth.
But-
Yeah. Well, I'm a different person than the last person.
Still priority list.
I understand. I understand.
But he's a new person, he's a new,
I know.
you know.
Brian and I have a good.
I'm not talking to that, I'm talking priority waste right now.
Friday rolls around, Brett knows he's getting a phone call from me sometime.
There's always going to be a text, phone call, or email. So. And I'm always prepared for it.
Some of them lengthier than others.
That is 100% true.
All right, any other questions or comments from Brett?
Not for Brett, but for council. I asked you this question before, if we are required to provide trash services to our residents.
Yeah, so I haven't seen in the ordinance of where that is required. I know that there are other municipalities where they allow the residents to go and
Yes.
pick their own. My only hesitation with that, and I would need to talk to other municipalities to see how they do it, but my fear would be if we have waste service across all different days of the week, or could we say everybody goes out and gets their own, but it all has to be on Friday, or how that all works? Otherwise,
It
we
will
have
be a
trash
trail,
out there all
there'll
week
be,
long.
there
How
will be
that works
trash
individual ways.
days a week, yes.
Right.
But that just sends a message that I'm not sure everyone would choose to go with Brett. Do you you offer individualized resident pickup?
So yes, we can offer subscription pickup. With that being said, it does create more difficulty than it really does solving an issue. Just because now you have different trucks, different people. So if they call into New Haven, it could be waste management. But then Brian doesn't know who to call for waste
Well,
management.
it wouldn't be Brian's problem anymore, I guess is
understand.
where I'm going with this.
Yes.
It would be up to the individual homeowner.
It's something that we can offer. Now, cost-wise, it's usually not beneficial towards the resident.
Right, but that, I'm just stating that if that was a route that the village decided to take, I'm not sure how many people would choose priority.
Right.
So that's my only comment.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thanks. Sorry.
As a board, is there any further discussion that we want to have as the board on this topic?
We met last month, we said we were going to talk about remedies to come up with. And I think we agreed on the best solution would be something along the lines of withholding payment for this service, whatever that amount is. Nothing concrete, but just a general idea that would be probably the thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the challenge, right, is, you know, so even if we were to withhold a portion of payment or something from this service, then how or what do you do with it? How do you know? Because I know there was talk last month about, well, what about refunding residents who had missed pickups, a portion of their, but then you're talking about our utility clerk having to go in and mess with people's accounts and offer refunds, and right now you got the administrative oversight.
The general working idea would be something that just stays inside the trash can, and then in future, if there's enough of it, then we can do like we've done before and just not pass increases on.
Okay. Any other discussion on this topic? Okay. All right, with that, we'll move on to the next topic. Item B, Seaford House. So this one, I'm going to propose that we table this until next month. We were having some hesitation on sending our inspector out to the Seaford House for an inspection. We weren't really sure on the legalities of sending him onto somebody else's property. But we did get clarification that as recently as today that we can reach out to the homeowner, ask for permission, and then go onto the property if we get a hold of them. If we don't, we can send them out because of the litigation. So the inspection is not good.
I was going to ask that if we had an order, then can we just do it?
If we have
Do we have to ask at that point?
I think the order we have in place right now probably would cover you. However, because of communication that has been made by the owner to the village, I think the best route would be contact the owner, ask for permission to conduct the inspection. If there's no response to that within a set period of time, then we have an order in place that would, I think, cover us in the event that there's no communication. I think that added layer of protection though is the way to go.
Next on the agenda is item C, Tri-County International Trucks. I saw he walked into the building. Can you go grab him?
He's in the back.
While we're waiting, have we turned the furnace, the AC? I don't know about y'all, but it's
Battery's dead.
I'm dying up here. Yeah. Really? Why? Really? Okay.
Oh, and you
I just run hot. I got a lot of insulation. Give me some slack.
I'm drinking hot coffee.
Good evening.
Thank you, sir.
Nothing like using football practice and coming right here.
I like your shirt. Glutton for punishment. Love it.
All right, I'm coming before you today because this is about the plow trucks?
Yeah, Tri-County action.
Because Sandy and I looked into the whole tariff thing with the plow trucks. And what it is, it's not tariffs, it's the cost of materials is going up. So that's where the extra cost is incurred at. It's not a tariff, or it was the metals and that 3 years ago. The cost of materials. And that's what they explained to us.
And that's 4,000 per vehicle.
Yes, yes ma'am. Yep, for a total of, I don't know, $9,200.26.
So essentially, the motion would just be to increase the approved amount for the two Tri-County International trucks in the amount of $9,226. $200,026.
We brought this up last time, I'm still trying to wrap my head around it though, but say I agree to buy a truck from you for $100,000 and you wait 3 years to deliver it and then it costs you more, how am I still on the hook for your increases?
I agree 100%, but it is what it is. I mean, like, the chassis took a long time to get, and the price of materials went up, and I initially tried to put a down payment to lock that price in, and they're split. They said, no, we don't do down payments.
That's what I was getting at, do we have something like signed, like account, we're gonna buy this for this amount? No, we don't have that.
They would not. We tried to put a down payment down to lock the price in. They were like, we don't do down payments in case, because probably the time frame of the trucks, and they know they go up, so they adjust accordingly. I know.
Yeah, because you have to have a signed contract and
Yes,
a
ma'am.
down payment to be out at that price.
But at the minimum of contract.
But a down payment too, usually, that's how it was like my house, they couldn't change it even though prices went up because I gave them.
Yes. And I reached out to the company, and we tried to, 3 years ago, we tried to put a down payment on the lock in the price. And they said we would not operate with down payments. We know not. We know why. Because it takes a timely manner to get the trucks. Some people, I've reached out to others, and they said, yeah, it took us 2 years. So what they're doing is they're protecting themselves against losing money when things go up and they lose money.
Well, their business to make money, not.
Yeah.
I'm sure, I'm sure at some point they lost quite a bit probably.
Yes. Right.
That portion of the truck was not ever built. The other portion of the truck that we're waiting for, that we sent it to, the cab and everything like that, they had that inventory
Yeah.
sitting there for 3 years.
Yeah.
We had to get a cost increase on that. The chassis was our problem, with material and stuff like that to build. Back in the day when we ordered it, everybody was having problems with steel and everything, copper and all that stuff, getting them to build stuff because of COVID and stuff like that. They did not have the resources to build the stuff. And that's why we're seeing the increase on that stuff.
And they couldn't sell you something they didn't have.
Exactly. Yeah.
I just found an email that was in the January 2023 packet that it's for truck and trailer, right?
Yep.
Yes.
And it says is willing to commit and hold pricing with a 50% deposit due September 15th, 2023.
And then when the COVID prices hit, then they said they wouldn't do it. They wanted to deposit on us.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have that in our notes.
Okay.
Any other questions for Marcus? Motion in order?
I'll make a motion, I'm just gonna vote the full amount of the 2 invoices, which is to purchase 2 vehicles that they're available to receive now, correct?
They're finishing up right now. Yeah.
$189,796.72. Do you know when they'll be delivered, Marcus?
I don't know the exact date. I've received pictures of them getting done. So he's been keeping me up to date on everything and while we're getting outfitted and everything.
We're hopeful we'll actually be able to use them for this season.
Yes. Oh, we will.
That was my next question.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
As part of the taking the delivery of the new trucks, we've even been trying to scout out the routes that the trucks will be taking and being proactive about making sure the trees and everything that could
Yeah.
be. Because we're gonna have a brand new two new trucks. We don't want them getting all scratched up on the trees. So we are trying to be a little proactive on that too.
Support. Thank you.
It's been moved and supported that we approve the 2 invoices with the updated pricing of $189,796.72. Any further discussion on the motion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Bunkowski?
Yes.
Trustee Hashem?
Yes.
Trustee Capoli?
Yes.
Trustee Nona?
Yes.
Trustee Guerrero?
Yes.
Trustee Dilbert?
Yes.
President Meissen?
Yes. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Item D, marijuana ordinance updates. I sent this separately to all of you. We just received the updated ordinance today. Tonight, for both D and E, just so I don't have to repeat myself, Both of these are just only asking to be able to post them for public review for the 30 days. We're not asking for taking action tonight. So while normally we would want to have this into our packet so that, you know, those that are reviewing the packet in advance would have the ability to review it. In this instance, because we're just posting it for 30 days, everybody's going to have the ability. It'll be posted on our village website. It'll be here for review. So anybody that needs to see it, we could probably even, I guess, since now that we have them, could we maybe go back and update the agenda
Oh, yeah.
packet?
I do
Just
that.
so it's
Every time
included.
there's a modification, I do that,
Yeah.
so everything's there.
Okay,
So it'll be in the agenda packet, and then I'll have Jenny post it separately too.
perfect. So with that, did you want to talk about any of about the changes that were made?
Yeah, it's primarily with regard to the distance that's required from a residential dwelling. The change would be that there is no requirement that a specific distance be stated in the ordinance. So we changed some of the language there. Obviously, there are some statutory things like a church or a school, for example, that require it's 500 feet from one of those establishments. But with regard to a residential dwelling, we took that's the primary change. The other thing that we added was specifics with regard to security measures that have to be in place at any facility, alarms, security on site, fencing around the entire perimeter. I think that's the gist of the security issues. Requirement, we added in language that would require any establishment to be hooked up to municipal sewer and water. I think that's the three primary changes that we made to it. One edit to remove some language on the distance, and a couple of additions with regard to security and health issues.
We also asked our attorneys if we could have verbiage in there that would require some sort of portion of proceeds or whatnot to be donated to a local charity or something like that. We were told we can't have that in ordinance.
That's correct.
Any questions on the questions?
Is that coming out?
No, you don't have right in my discussion. No, it's not.
So that's going to be included?
That would be included.
I think that's in there previously.
Yes, it was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, it's just bold.
That's not a change. I don't know. That went over something that.
Okay.
There's,
It's not.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, so that is
That's
included in
it.
it.
It's
Okay.
included.
there's no further questions. Motion in order to post publicly.
So I'll make a motion to post this publicly for 30 days. The marijuana, let me read it properly to you. The adult use marijuana facilities licensing ordinance.
It's been moved and supported that we post this publicly for public review until the next meeting. Any further discussion on the motion?
So then what happens after the 30-day period, Brian?
After the 30-day period, then the intention would be to, bring this back for discussion and or action.
Editing?
If there are any changes that we want, yeah, absolutely. And if you see anything, during the public period that is posted, if you see anything you want edited, please, by all means, don't wait until next month. Just send it as you see it.
Okay.
If we make changes, those changes would have to be posted too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I want to make sure that whatever we are deciding to go with gets full public, as much as possible, broadcasted to everybody. Any further discussion on the motion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Pankowski?
Yes.
Trustee Hatchell?
Yes.
Trustee Guerrero? Yes. Trustee Dilbert?
Yes.
Trustee Noah?
Yes.
Trustee Burkholden?
Yes.
Trustee President Meissner?
Yes. I guess a little bit overkill having roll call for just posting it online, but, yeah, item E is exactly pretty much the same mantra. Again, this was forwarded to you all for review today. We just received it, and again, this is not asking for action today. This is only asking for it to be publicly posted. If you could.
Yeah, it's specific to the fees charged for registration and inspection of rental properties. Some changes were made to dollar amounts being charged for those, so it laid the proposed ordinance details what the fees are for each type of dwelling, single family, multifamily, condo, apartment buildings, and breaks down the specific charges for registration of the rental unit and inspection after that registration. And then the fees for penalties with violations and things like that.
Any questions for Attorney Yules?
Yeah.
Seeing none, motion in order.
So moved.
It's been moved and supported that we post the residential rental ordinance for public review until our next meeting, to then come back for action. Any further discussion on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. All right, under new business, we have item A, full-time fire position. Chief Steer.
Good evening. Today we are requesting to bring our part-time fire lieutenant to full-time status. Currently, right now, Lieutenant Wagner works 29 hours. We want to bring him up to 40 hours. We've been able to sit down with Sandy, we've been able to rework the budget on the payroll side, and this is all within budget. So we're just asking for the president, for you guys to authorize the president to enter into an agreement with Lieutenant Wagner.
For those that don't know, I mean, if you come into the fire department, it seems like regardless of only 29 hours, if you come into the fire department, it's almost guaranteed you're going to see Lieutenant Wagner there.
Lieutenant Wagner is sitting with us today. If you didn't know who that was.
I will make a motion to bring Lieutenant up to full-time. Support.
It's been moved and supported that we bring Lieutenant Wagner to full-time. Any further discussion on the motion? Yes, sir.
Cost.
The cost. Mr. Wagner's cost will be $26,000 in payroll. $2,000 will be a stipend for medical. He does not require medical. And $2,000 for vacation. So $30,000 to bring him to full-time status.
For the rest of the year.
For the rest of the year, for the rest of the FY.
Have a comment?
Sure.
For the rest of this year.
For the rest of the FY.
Fiscal year.
For the fiscal year, yes, sir.
Okay, so what's the annual?
52,000 base.
Okay, that's what I want, real numbers.
Oh, yeah, 50,000
Not
base.
per number.
$25 an hour. Yep.
The fire committee did meet last week?
Yes.
Yes, it was last week that we met. And the fire department is responsible for their own budget, and it falls within their budget. So,
Well, that's fine,
yeah.
that's fine, but I still want to know the numbers, and the numbers should be a part of the packet. And it's very simple, he just gave me simple numbers that could have very simply been a part of this packet. Thank you, Dan.
You're welcome, sir.
All right, it has been moved and supported. Any further discussion on the motion?
Yeah, to be fair, the fire committee did have the numbers, and yeah, they're not in this package, where they should be included.
Yeah.
I think the numbers were calculated after the packet came out.
Okay. Well, we have a fire committee.
Yeah, but I think the packet come out before the fire meeting? Oh, okay, never mind.
Always include the numbers.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, sir.
All right, any further discussion on the motion? Seeing none, roll call?
Trustee Bunkowski?
Yes.
Trustee Guerrero? Yes. Trustee Capoli?
Yes.
Trustee Hatchell?
Yes.
Trustee Dilbert?
Yes.
Trustee Noah?
Yes.
President Mason?
Yes. Next, we have item B, fire department service door.
So the service door are two main doors, both in the north and south of the building. They are approximately 19 years old. They are rusted, they are warped, and we need to update those doors. So in front of you, you've got three quotes from Citywide, Lapeer, and M&M Door. We are requesting, we are recommending Port Huron glass for the lower quote.
Are we, I'm sorry, are we comparing apples to apples? Because these
Yes,
prices-
sir. So if you see M&M's got a quote of a lot more.
Yeah.
So if you look at the very top, it says $1,900. From what I can assimilate out of this is that is the cost to tear out and remove. Where that is actually in these two other quotes at a much cheaper rate.
And, you know, the fact
That's
that,
the only thing I could come up with of why the extra $2,000 was added to that bill. Yes, sir.
and the fact that they're local.
And they're local. Yes, sir. I don't know.
I would think they'd want the business.
Yes, sir. So that's the only thing quote, the very top 1,900, because if you take that out of there, that quote is right in with the wheelhouse of the other two quotes.
Yeah, labor is significantly cheaper for the other two.
Yes, I don't know why.
Do you have any history with,
Because M&M currently services our overhead doors.
yeah, they service mine? But
We've had them out a few times. Just to-
this Port Huron glass, do you have any history with them? I mean,
I do not. They came recommended by somebody, so we gave them a call. They came down, and we've never dealt with them before, but they came in at the cheapest quote. Now, this does not include the electronics that are going to have to go into this door. Dyke Security is going to have to come out here and provide us with keypads. Right? So you're familiar, the sheriff's department still uses the fire department, so instead of doing swipe cards or anything like that, we're going to do keypads. So Dyke Security will still have to give us a quote to install the keypads. All the doors, if you see, it's called the electronic strike. That is all included in the quote. So that is the piece of the door that we need, and then we'll get Dyke to come in and finish out our installation of the keypads. We currently use a residential style keypad that you see that you can buy at the Home Depot. They're getting wore out, so it's time to replace.
Any other questions for Chief Steer? Motion in order.
I'll make a motion that we accept the bid, the low bid from Port Huron Glass in the amount of $4,834.30 to replace the two exterior doors at the fire department.
Second.
It's been moved and supported that we replace the two doors with Port Huron glass in the amount of $4,834.30. Any further discussion on the motion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Dilbert?
Yes.
Trustee Capoli?
Yes.
Trustee Bunkowski?
Yes.
Trustee Guerrero? Yes. Trustee Hatchell?
Yes.
Trustee Noah?
Yes.
President Mason?
Yes. All right. Last for you, sir, but not least, Community National Bank Fire Truck yearly payment.
Yeah, I don't know why that's here. It's a reoccurring payment.
It's a recurring payment.
Oh,
This
okay.
is-
Ms. Hazel.
Why is it on the
I know
agenda?
why we put it there. I don't remember. The reason why we put it up there is we want, one thing, you wanted to pay it off.
Yeah, so a little backstory. We owe one full payment, which will go out in October. And then from there, it's like $17,000 we'll owe to pay it off. So depending on how the budget looks, come January, February, March, somewhere in there before the end of this FY, I might come back to you if the budget is still stable to come to pay that off this FY. So next FY, we're starting, clean reallocate that moving forward. So again, this is a reoccurring payment, again, last full payment, 2 payments total for the last full payment.
Basically, should have been a discussion point only.
Okay. All right.
Any questions?
Any questions about that?
Are you gonna send them a big check?
$320,000, $400,000.
Send us the payoff statement with a big bow on it. All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Item number D, SMART. Thank you, sir. Chief White.
Good evening. I mentioned the last time I was out, I'd be back in about 4 or 5 months, and I kept my promise to you all. If you'll recall last year, when I came before you to talk about the shuttle bus service that we provide through contract with SMART, we were about 8 months into the fiscal year when SMART got the contracts to us. So basically, we're approving a contract where we'd already spent 8 months worth of money, for lack of a better way to put it. This year, SMART was far more efficient in getting the contracts out to us. We received them about a month ago. I got them here to the village office. The president and I met about a week ago to discuss where this was at. As far as the amount of the credits, or credits, you should think that just dollars, the amount of dollars that SMART was going to provide your community for local public transit service. This year's increase, again, it's been the last several years about 1.75%, which for you guys added to about $240 in additional monies that you received from SMART. So there was a total of $5,709 in what's called municipal credits. Those come from the state of Michigan as part of the Act 51 funds. And then $9,538 in what's called community credits, or dollars, which come as part of from the millage that all taxpayers in Macomb County pay. So the 1 mil less heavily rollback. SMART keeps the vast majority of that. Like I say, whatever our mill brings in here, the rest of that goes to SMART, and you get about $9,500 back from that for this service. This year, the EMS proposed that we would keep the exact same amount as we did last year in those funds for the small bus service that we provide here in the community at $11,759, and the village of New Haven would take the remaining $3,488. So basically same as last year plus the 1.75% increase. This past year, there were a lot of rides were provided here in the village. We did 1,857 rides in the village of New Haven. We are at capacity. We're over capacity. I provide a report monthly. I think all of you get a copy of that. And in that, it shows that we are averaging 8 to 10% of all callers that contact the agency get turned away for service. It's not that we want to turn anyone, we wish we could turn anyone away, but frankly, we operate with the budget we're provided, and with the budget we're provided, the buses get full, and when the buses get full, we turn people away. There's just not that we have, just like you, we have a budget, we can only spend what is in that. So with that, I think that kind of covers why I'm here tonight. We've done this for many, many years with the village, so it's not a new service, it's not anything proposed as new, and it's a continuation of the service you've grown to expect and enjoy from our mutual working relationship. While I have the microphone, I always just mention, especially because I know your meetings here are placed on video and available to the public, is for folks needing service. We encourage them to call 586-749-7713. That's our phone number to the SMART office. And we just encourage people to call as soon as you make those appointments, for whether it's doctors or if it's work related or whatever the need is to get those appointments. Call right away, because the sooner you call, the more likelihood you are of not being in that 10% group that we have to turn away. Unless there are any questions, that's all I have, Mr. President.
Any questions? So just to recap, we really only increased, I don't remember exact $200 and some change. Sorry? $288. So Richmond Lennox EMS and SMART is proposing to just give us the $288 that we would be able to use for our charter bus services. any questions? Chief Wood, any questions on the motion?
What is the specific ask?
So if you look at the total numbers, basically, you've received a total of $15,247 from SMART this year. What we propose is $11,759 of that come to the EMS, and $3,488 are kept by the village to use for charter bus and other services that were being eligible.
Page 89 of the PDF file.
Thank you.
Shows the worksheet. If you're using Rachel's latest copy. Motion in order?
So you're looking for a motion.
So we're looking for a motion to allocate the $11,759 to Richmond Lennox EMS and then $3,488 to the charter services.
So moved. Support.
It's been moved.
What is the specific?
Yeah, sorry, that probably would have been easier if I just wanted to do it that way. So it's been moved and supported that we allocate $11,759 to Richmond Lennox EMS for their bus services and $3,488 for charter services to be held by the village. Any further discussion on the motion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Dombrowski?
Yes.
Trustee Guerrero? Yes. Trustee Hatchell? Yes. Trustee Burkholder?
Yes.
Trustee Nona?
Yes.
Trustee Dilbert?
Yes.
President Bison?
Yes.
Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Item number E, FOIA request form update. Clerk, what's that? Are you speaking through this? Or?
Yeah, there was a little standing out back and forth. There was an update to the FOIA request based on some,
Confidentiality?
yes, confidentiality, and I'm drawing a blank what we discussed.
It was about fees. It was about fees.
Yes, fees, that's what it was.
It was about fees.
Fees and some confidentiality things, and it was just, the attorneys updated it. I wasn't sure if it needed to come before council for approval to use the new form,
So
so.
we decided to bring it to the council anyways.
Yeah, sure.
The last time the form had been updated was 2018. So that's why we had Mr. Wills to, did I say that, Mr. Wills?
Yes.
Thank you. To look at it and have it updated.
Yeah, there's no huge change, it's just fees. Because the cost of everything goes up.
So could you?
Yeah, the biggest change that is made is with regard to labor fees that are charged as a result of a FOIA request. The old form did not allow for labor to be charged. It is allowed to be charged with a 50% deposit. The way the new form reads is that a deposit would be held in escrow of $25 minimum with the FOIA request being made, and that would be obviously used towards any fee, any costs that are incurred as a result of fulfilling the FOIA request. And the confidentiality it's kind of a non-issue. There's nothing in there that allows us to put out any sort of confidentiality clause.
Any questions on this form? Motion in order to approve the updated FOIA request form and updated fees.
So moved. Can you just tell me who is our coordinator?
Ms. Whatsup?
Oh, Ms. Wilson.
Clerk Whatsup.
With a lot of help from the office.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. All right, it has been moved and supported that we approve of the updates to the FOIA request form with the updated fee schedule. Any further discussion on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Next up, we have item F, planning chair, hourly pay. So I did have a executive summary in here for everybody that kind of covers it as I scroll down through my packet here. So our planning chair, right now the way that planning is set up is that they're paid by the meeting that they attend for the planning meeting. But there are a lot of meetings that we have been having here at the village, whether it's zoning compliance related. We have people coming in for pre-construction meetings. We have people coming in for just all sorts of meetings, asking for our professionals and our planning and everybody to be involved. Currently, as it sits, when we do have a meeting, our engineer gets paid for it, our building inspector gets paid for it if he attends, if the attorney attends, they get paid for it. If whoever attends, our planner, unless it's during his office hours. But the planning chair doesn't get paid for it as it currently stands. And typically for our planning chair to attend, it means calling off from work to then attend the meeting, which means they're not getting paid by their normal duties and then not getting paid for being here. Currently, we do pay the planning chair $15 an hour for the services that they provide for our social media account, our website, creation of flyers and graphics and stuff like that. So the ask would be to set up a similar system where, when she's putting in these extra hours, attending these meetings, to allow her to be reimbursed $15 per hour for her capacity as planning chair attending these meetings. Any questions?
I have just two.
Sure.
So is the chair required to attend those meetings?
Typically, I believe that she's not necessarily required to. There are instances where she's requested.
She's what?
Requested to attend.
The chair has requested to attend?
When we have zoning compliance meetings, or when we've had our commercial building inspection meetings, there have been instances where we've asked the chair to attend.
Okay. And you've asked the chair to attend? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, does the planner always attend?
Typically, as long as it's during the office hours, they attend.
Okay.
There has been times where our planner has made accommodations. If the meeting's on a Friday, they have attended. I'm not exactly sure if they substitute the Wednesday hours for Friday or how that all plays out.
Okay.
I'm seeing some heads nodding, so yeah, it sounds like they do.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
My questions are similar because, historically, up until a couple years ago, the planning chair didn't attend these meetings. The fees that are paid by the applicants are charged to cover our professionals, the planner, the engineers, building inspectors. And quite honestly, we've come to planning commission meetings and we literally have been asked for what took place at the meeting. And I say that to say that nothing is being shared with the commission unless we ask specifically what took place at the meeting. So I personally don't see a benefit of the chair attending these meetings.
Well, in a lot of cases, or well, I won't say in a lot of cases, but in many cases, because it has come down to whether or not the chair has to call off of work to attend the meeting or attend, or not attend. There have been a bunch of cases where she's unfortunately having to choose to work her job and not attend.
Well,
and that might be some of the reasons why you're not getting the update, but maybe not all, but some of them.
Well, I think some of the updates that we're not getting is they're just flat out, they're not being shared because when a subject comes up at the planning commission meeting and then when the direct question is asked, then the information is shared. Look, why didn't you share it before we had to?
Right. Yeah, so maybe if the planning chair is being paid to attend the meeting, maybe they should be taking notes and sending it out.
I would say minutes, you're supposed to take
Meeting
minutes.
minutes.
We got Parks and Rec.
Well, I mean,
I guess that's the reason I asked the questions, because that was my experience as well.
I don't see a benefit to the planning commission for the chair to attend these meetings. We have a planner, and the planner, this new planner, I am really happy and impressed with. He's thorough, and the information that we get from the planner is the information that we typically rely on.
Does her attending the meetings streamline things? Like, are things not going to planning because they're not ready yet, and it's because of the result of her attending those meetings?
But she shouldn't have that authority.
Right?
Well, it's
She shouldn't have that
usually,
authority.
it's usually when we're having our like building compliance issues meeting that she's attending. And in the past, she was attending in lieu of our planner. Now that we do, and that was admittedly not as I'm thinking through this, when she was attending those meetings, it was when we had our previous planner. So now that we do have Dave.
Now, that
has
would make
been-
sense when we do,
Right.
yeah.
So admittedly, now that I'm thinking through this, I mean, yeah, Dave has been working with us to attend the meetings.
So this is a result of an issue with our previous planner, and it just kind of carried over.
Spilled into.
So it's not as much of an issue anymore?
I mean, I guess if we're telling the planning chair that we don't need them at the meeting because we have the planner, then yeah, it wouldn't be an issue
And
as much.
Oh, that's what we pay the planner for.
I'm just looking for the benefit on it. Just
Yeah.
like- And if she doesn't have to be at the meetings, then she doesn't have to take time off of work. I mean, if it streamlines something, I'm looking for that too. Give me an example.
Right. Yeah, I don't know, Sir Matt, are you able to, sorry to put you on the spot, but can you think of instances where maybe it is beneficial of having the planning chair at the meeting? Admittedly, you guys attend the meetings more than I do. I mean, me as the village president, I usually sit out of those meetings.
So this is a pre-application meeting, which is requested by the applicant, and assuming that all department heads, technically, the planning chair is attending, so it's just to give the applicant feedback from all angles. The benefit would be, representing the planning commission, the chair would be looking at a site plan differently from what the professionals are looking at it. We kind of steer them towards technical guidance, safety and water and sewer and zoning. They will be looking at more of, does it fit within the village? So we can't provide that. I mean, I can see it either way. You can argue it either way. Other municipalities, we have chairs, I think, and we don't have chairs, I think. It all depends how it's set up in the municipality. It's totally your call.
But she doesn't have the capacity to represent the entire committee
She
at that
doesn't.
meeting.
Right.
Right, well, I wouldn't say that
That's where I
she's.
have an issue with it. But if they're saying that the committee chair is saying if it's a good fit or not, well, the committee
That's
is
her
supposed.
opinion.
That's her opinion, right? The committee needs to meet in a public fashion as we are today to discuss whatever it is. And I guess as the applicant, that wouldn't be fair to the applicant.
No, I'm not implying that she's making a decision. That's not what I'm saying here. It's just, from historical feedback, knowing that
planning members, and it would be more like a liaison between, you know, a pre-application meeting to the planning meeting.
And that would be great if that's what was happening. And as I said, my experience in the past, that was not it. And Chris, you could speak to that, and I guess Rachel, you could speak to that.
If there's a disconnect, I mean, that's something else.
I think that benefit I could see is if it's not exactly representing the planning commission, but if it's something where she knows what the ordinance is and the applicant is requesting something, she can say, you're gonna have to come to planning and ask for a variance.
Yeah, but
She knows
that's
what
what
our-
the planner does.
We have a planner for that purpose.
Yeah, that's the only benefit I can see of it, but, and that may have been an issue before, but I wanna, like, right now, today, what is the issue with it today? Because it sounds like our planner's on top of things, so I'm trying to figure out what is the benefit to the request.
What's the, I was gonna say, is what can the chair do that the planner cannot?
Yeah, that's a good question. I would say that there's probably nothing that the chair is able to do that the planner would not be able to.
But I was thinking if because we're a planner.
Planner gets first contact information.
Okay.
The planner looks at it from a technical standpoint, just like we look at an ordinance and see if they comply. The planning commission does, you know, they take all the technical recommendations and make a decision on behalf of the village if it fits in the master plan or the village vision of what these developments are. That connection between the chair and from the pre-app to the planning commission meeting, that's what we're talking about here. She does not have authority to make an opinion or a decision that would not be good. I don't think that's the intent here. But I think Chris did. It's a conveyance of what happened at the pre-app to the planning commission. That's basically like one of the reasons. And then the historical knowledge of the village and all that stuff. But it's not a technical review. She's not supposed to make any recommendation or we only steer them to the right path. So they don't waste the planning commissioner's time.
But it's not a requirement to be the chair or a member of the planning commission and have a historical background as the village. It's not required. And so then, should you get paid $15 an hour or whatever the rate is for?
I don't get paid for any of the meetings I
Right.
attend.
And that's my fear of it. Okay, so now who next? Or do we start paying hourly wage?
Sure.
Does that make sense?
Okay. Say we will move on with no motion made. Okay. Alrighty. Item G, holiday shutdown. So this one I also believe there was an executive summary sent out. So essentially, last year, you know, like I have in the summary, I thought it was within my purview that I was able to authorize having the office historically has always shut down for the week between Christmas and New Year's to give everybody a break. Historically, it was, we'll shut down, but you have to use your sick time, you have to use your vacation time to be able to cover that, or else it's unpaid. It was my understanding, based off of talking with the union steward, or the union manager, that I had the authority to do a letter of understanding that gives them the ability to take that time off without having to use their vacation and sick time. But as it was pointed out, the payroll side of that amounts to $8,000. Had I known that at the time, I wouldn't have authorized it. We would have brought it to council for approval. So now that it has been brought to my attention, here we are. I am bringing it to council for discussion and consideration. Typically, you know, we shut down for that week to give them that time off. But then we are putting them in the position that they have to burn their vacation time or their sick time. Personally, I always have felt, working for my employer, I'm forced to take July off for a week. I have to burn my own vacation time. I've always felt that was unfair, and that's why I was in the stance of they shouldn't have to burn it either. I didn't want to be a hypocrite in how I feel. So that was why I had done the letter of understanding and why I'm asking for consideration that we allow them to take between Christmas and New Year's off without having to utilize their vacation time or their sick time, and that it would just be recognized days off provided by the village.
And why are they closed? Why are we closed again?
That part I can't answer. It's something we've always.
We haven't always.
You were saying, you're saying historically, since when? I don't recall.
As long as I've known.
But we haven't always closed.
I don't know when it started. It wasn't me that started that.
Back in 2016, I would say, 16, 17, the union had expressed an interest in possibly having that week off or that time period off. And I proposed to the union that our contract pays them Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, and that we would close, but they would be forced to cover those other days with their own vacation time. And if they didn't have it, then they just go unpaid. And so that's what we did for a number of years. And the union was satisfied with that. I guess the biggest issue I have is that we had just completed negotiations with the union. And then a few months later, you signed a letter of understanding giving them this time off paid at a cost that I'm guesstimating at about $8,000 to the village, when we could have negotiated this in their contract, which may have resulted in the same result, but maybe a smaller pay raise. You know, we could have come to the same dollar number, but in a different, okay? And the fact that you signed a letter of understanding did not bring it back to council. I had to bring it to you a couple months ago, and then I do the research and find out that you signed this letter 2 days before Christmas and still failed to bring it back to council for approval. And now you want to bring it a year later or 9 months later. And like I said, we had just completed negotiations, and this all could have been negotiated and been a part of a contract, and maybe they would have gotten 50 cents less pay raise to help pay for this, because they got substantial pay raises plus additional vacation time. So, I mean, this contract that was just signed was quite generous, and then you're going to throw this on top of it. I think at some point in time, the money pit's going to run out. Okay, you know, like the gentleman said, we got $8 million in the bank, but that's not $8 million that we can touch. You know, we have enterprise fund that we can't touch. You know, we got to start thinking about this thing, and I'm not in support of this right here after the fact, unless you want to reopen the contract and let's take back some of what we gave to help pay for this.
Yeah, and I mean, to your point, I am very regretful that when I was working on the LOU that nobody along the way mentioned about what the payroll cost would be. Had I known how much the payroll cost would have been, I would have brought it to council for approval. What I was being told at the time with our union, manager was that this was something that I was able to do. The payroll costs never came into play.
Who's the union manager?
Mr. Hart.
Do you think he's going to say something that's going to...
So it was also...
That's what I was going to talk about.
He didn't do it out of his membership.
I'm going to tell
you whatever you...
I'm going to tell you whatever benefits my membership.
Yeah, so nobody brought it up to me along the way about the payroll cost. I did not consider the payroll costs. That is my bad. I take responsibility for that. And unfortunately, for whatever reason, although it was known, it was held on to like a little nugget until a couple of months ago and then flashed in my face. So for whatever reason, we're not bringing things up immediately when it can be addressed. So now that it has been brought to my attention that this payroll amount is in the amount that it is, that's why I'm bringing it here to council for discussion.
So my question is, when is the union contract? When is that?
That was renewed last year.
Yeah.
How often is it renewed?
So was it a 5-year contract? 3?
I have a question.
So I say this goes into the contract.
I said I have a question and a comment. My question is, because this was brought up during the negotiations, the extra vacation time, how is that working out with everybody taking vacation?
We have a lot of people that are taking vacation and using all of their vacation as much as possible.
But I mean, is there overlap and are we without?
Right now, we need to work to get a better vacation policy in place.
Okay.
Right now, we don't have really good control on when people are taking vacation, giving us advance notice, and all that.
Okay.
So we are running into issues where people are not giving us the notice and it's like the day of, and people are calling in and saying they're taking off and so on and so forth.
Okay, yeah, no, how?
But that's regardless of the extra 5 days.
Right.
It's just that.
Well, not really.
It just means that
because-
it's occurring more often.
Right. I am not in support of shutting down and them getting paid. I mean, they got extra vacation time, they can use their vacation time for that week if they choose to do so.
And then they're still getting paid the 4 holiday days.
Right.
Yes.
Right? So what do you expect, 1 or 2 days? So I say,
And I'm not sure why I'm gonna go back to, I'm not understanding why we're closed. The bank is
I would
open,
defer to
you know.
Trustee Gilbert on that. That was some of his.
Well, that was 8 years ago. My name was Joe back then.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the decision about closing the office, I mean, that was before my time. This is just something that we've continued.
Well, I think that.
But it wasn't negotiated.
I think that
so
just needs
that's
to
in
be.
the contract, so we can't do anything about that.
It's not in the contract.
No, it's not.
It's
That's
not.
an
closure.
Look at it again.
No, I'm not talking about the money, I'm talking about when it's shut down.
That's not.
I mean, I guess what I would say is that here we are in September. I would ask that we not try to renegotiate whether or not the office is closed between Christmas and New Year's
Because?
this year. Because at this point, they've had the entire year thinking that they had that closure. This is something that has taken place every year since 2016.
The office can still be closed that week.
That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I'm just saying the office closure. I'm saying let's not reconsider the office closure. Whether they get, how the payment or how they have to take it off, that's a separate topic. But I'm saying let's not reconsider. We have, everybody has had all year thinking they had Christmas to New Year closed. However, it's going to be covered.
That's the issue.
Right. So the issue is how is it covered? So if council is not in agreement, I will work with the union manager to rescind the LOU, however that has to happen.
It should have been just a one-off thing.
I believe the wording is set for the life of the contract.
The copyright, what I saw, yeah, we're gonna have a difficult time.
So,
That would be something that would have to go through the council anyway. You wouldn't be able to do that. So to me, that.
Well, that's part of the only thing that we got to stand on, is the fact that it was never approved by council.
Yeah, I can't go to the union rep and just sign a letter of agreement, like, because I'm not the authority. The board is the authority.
Yeah. Unfortunately, fully admit it's my mistake, and I did not realize that I didn't have that authority and my inexperience. So, if we want, I will, it sounds like that's what we want, I'll go to the union and tell them that we're going to have to rescind that.
Because having gone through this process for over a decade now, both here and at my employer, I have like I don't know what you call it, like a level of respect for the contract. And so anytime we have issues with it on our end, we have to do what I did on the union side of it. If you have an issue with the contract, write it down and have the negotiations happen. Then you bring all that stuff there to get the contract, to negotiate the things that you want in the contract, and anything from the holiday time, how you schedule holiday time. Write down, come up with something. Next negotiation, get something in place. You have to put it in 2 weeks in advance. You got to do this for what seniority. You know, you figure out all of the parameters and get it negotiated. Then it comes to the board as a package.
And everything had a value.
And then we live on it for the next 3, 4, 5 hours long inside the contract.
And everything had a value.
Next union negotiation, if you're still on the board, I would definitely ask that you lead this session. I have no experience leading union contracts. I will be the first to admit it. I will be the first to disclose it. I have leaned on everybody possible to guide my way through that contract negotiation. And as you all know, it was horrible and it was rough.
You never asked me. You never asked me.
Okay.
And I've been negotiating for, yeah.
Okay. I guess I didn't ask you and you didn't offer, so 2 ways.
But I don't know what's going on, so.
Well, I'm sure you do. You were at every single meeting that we had.
Council meetings.
You also were at the Ways and Means meetings.
Yeah, and I sat right there and said, you guys disapprove.
And he was absent one of those meetings that you came back and.
That we sat over there. But I wasn't part of the negotiation.
All right. We will, I will work with the union manager to see what we can do to rescind that.
That is formal title, manager.
So,
Business
business manager, I don't know
I
what
can't
his
remember how
title
the
really is.
called there.
So
Okay.
there's still some of us that are really in support of the shutdown itself.
But again, I don't think that should be up for debate. I mean, that's
Because-
something that we've been
Where
doing
is it?
since
Where's the
2016.
written draft?
So you're gonna tell them a few months before Christmas that they have to work between Christmas and New Year?
What I would say, what my opinion is, this should leave it the way it is. Because people probably want to plan vacations, they plan things that they're gonna do, and you're not gonna be here. So this way, but I would say this is something we want to revisit in January for next year.
Yes.
And that would be fine, but this year.
Right, that's what I'm saying. I don't think that this should be for debate for this year.
But that needs to be a topic the first year about what I mean, we should be setting a calendar anyway of what days the village is going to be closed every year.
It's something we can revisit in January. Or December.
I mean, do we want to visit it now for following year? For following year, not this year.
26, we can, I don't know.
That's what I'm saying, so we're talking about that, the days.
I mean, so talking about the office closure then, I mean, what is the pleasure of council as far as shutting down between Christmas and New Year with the assumption, so if I, with me rescinding the LOU,
Well, and I want
it
to
would be on
understand
them
what
to do.
Christmas and New Year means exactly, because I'm looking at the calendar.
What did the contract say?
She just pulled up the draft and didn't mention the shutdown between Christmas and New Year.
In the draft. So you guys got to pull the actual what was passed, but I just pulled up the draft and it was in there.
I don't have it on.
And it says that they have to use vacation time during the shutdown between Christmas and New Year's. Again, just the draft. We gotta,
And there were several drafts.
So
can
yeah. So that's why I said we have to look at the actual what was passed, but I did find it in the
talking
draft.
from like the 24th?
So the 24th and the 25th would be considered holidays, that's in the contract.
Right.
Then you have you said it was New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, which would be the 31st and the 1st. So in the case of this year, if you were looking at this year, it'd be the 26th, the 29th, and the 30th. So it'd be 3 business days. For next year, you're talking about 28th, 29th, and the 30th. So again, 3 business days.
And that's typically 3 to 4 business days.
I mean, most companies shut down between Christmas and New Year's.
I know,
Not most.
I have never.
Not most.
Mine don't.
The big 3 does.
Your previous employer did.
I didn't say previous.
Being finance, you're required to be there. You don't get time.
The big 3 that shut down. Don't say.
Big 3 and a lot of the suppliers all shut down for Christmas, between Christmas.
All things that have to do with the big 3.
Anything else?
I think if we polled our community and asked them about it, how many are businesses closed, you know what I mean?
I'm not allowed to
And
take time off.
are they comfortable with paying to shut down? As it is, I mean, how many people come and not know that we're closed?
Well, we put the notice out, put it on the door. I mean, I don't think the business, any of our residents would fault us for giving the employees off for a week or for that time, so that they can have a Christmas break.
I don't think the closure's ever been an issue, but I mean, I never heard any negative feedback. You know, the one or two who didn't know that we were closed, they come up here, they put on the door and they realize, they read the notice and say, oh, you're closed. And they go back home or go somewhere.
It's always a nice time to have off, I just say they don't get paid for it.
That's the issue.
So does council want to continue, again, not talking about this year, but for 2026 and moving forward? Well, I guess it's in the contract though, right?
You have to look at the contract. I found it in a draft. That wasn't what was actually passed. So you need to find the actual passed contract, which I can't find.
All right, so we'll bring this back at a following meeting. Let's go through, let's get it, make sure we have the contract, and then I can also follow up with what the results of the LOU is.
Yes. That would be great, thank you.
All right. Do we need a motion for that?
No, we're not doing anything.
Okay.
Just table it.
All right, item H was the music in the park, request from Parks and Rec. So, music in the park, typically spans about 6 weeks, which also includes, the week of Red Hot and Blue. At least for the past few years, you know, it's been each Friday. Red Hot and Blue has been the kickoff. And then the following 5 weeks after that for music in the park. We did put out a survey with Parks and Rec that queried some of the residents. We didn't get too many responses, but the overarching theme from the residents was that they wanted more weeks. That they appreciated having the Music in the Park series. They felt like 6 weeks was short. I know on the last week, we had a lot of residents coming up to, I had a lot of residents coming up to me asking if we could continue it. So in talking with Parks and Rec, we had a special meeting last week to talk about events and what we're planning on for the fall, and ultimately what we want to plan for next year. The discussion was had about what about expanding Music in the Park to just be a summer-wide series. And when I say summer-wide, I mean from when school gets out to when school goes back. So instead of 6 weeks that we looked it up from, you know, following New Haven Community Schools just as the model, that would be roughly 12 weeks. So it would be doubling the amount of weeks of Music in the Park. Now, each week of Music in the Park typically comes at a cost of $1,000 for the band, $1,000 for the stage rental, and then roughly about $500, which is really an overestimate, for ensuring that we have a DPW worker who is there to set up the event and shut it down. So grand total of about $2,500 per week. If we were to add the additional 6 weeks, if I did my math correctly, that was $15,000 that we would be asking to add to the Parks and Rec budget to allow them to operate up to 12 weeks. And I say up to because that might fluctuate. That might, you know, this was just an idea that was thrown out there. There was some discussion about, well, maybe we don't need to do the full 12 weeks. Maybe we end it, you know, the week before, 2 weeks before Labor Day, because that week before school starts, a lot of families go out of town. It's the last hurrah before school starts.
Yeah, I wouldn't have it that week, but yeah, there's adjustments to be made, but.
So, but overall, it would be, the request from Parks and Rec is that we would be to give approval to expand the Music in the Park for additional weeks, you know, additional 5-6 weeks at a additional budget added to Parks and Rec in the amount of $15,000. Thoughts?
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Where are their, what did they set for their Music in the Park budget this year? And were they under that, or did they meet that? Or exceed it?
That I don't know. So I know overall the Parks and Rec budget is $28,000. They are under budget so far for their overall budget.
So do they need the full 15,000 then?
The 28,000 is for all our events, music in the park, slow roll.
But you said they didn't spend their full budget?
Right, they have not spent their full budget, so they still have budget remaining for the rest of the fiscal year.
Okay.
Which will cover bus trips, they have the Frankenmuth trip planned.
The 2 buses for that one.
Yeah, the 2 buses for that one, we have the bowling. So there's more events that are planned. This 15,000 is just an estimate based off of, a guesstimate based off of if we were to expand it by an additional 6 weeks at 2,500 a week.
Is this an ask for this year?
No, this would be, this would be next fiscal year.
So that would be something for budget time next year?
Well, so the reason why we're bringing it forward now is because we are trying to be very proactive this year on the scheduling of our events. So if we are going to approve this, Lynette in the office will immediately begin reaching out to bands and getting those weeks filled and scheduled and contracted out.
So tonight, we just want to conceptually agree to expand it, and then the numbers, people are going to do that for budget next year.
Yeah, I mean, conceptually, it should be 15,000. If we're overestimating,
You're underestimating, you don't have labor in there, and you don't have the.
I do have labor. That was, we estimated $300 for labor.
Their line item for $28,000 only is the events, has nothing to do with the labor of the Parks and Rec or DPW.
No, we said 1,000 for the stage, 1,000 for the band, and then that's leaving 500 for the labor.
Correct, but not on that line item. It's different line items. Their events is $28,000.
Oh, right, yeah, 28,000. Yeah.
$28,000 is their events, and we have civic events, I think that's $30,000.
I see what you're saying. So the 15,000 isn't technically directly to the Parks and Rec budget. It would be split across different
Right,
channels.
saying different lines. for
Yes,
different
correct, yes.
We're paying $1,000 for the stage.
So right now, we're, the Shell, or what is it, New Baltimore Lions, they're charging us about 1,000. We have gotten quotes from the St. Clair, is it St. Clair County that has the stage? Theirs is 850, so if we can get their stage, it would definitely be a savings.
But what battle would move it?
What's that?
What battle would move it?
And that's a good question. I mean, I would hope we'd have to figure that out. Now next month, I believe, Miss Lynette will be bringing forward, I think, a proposal regarding a permanent stage, because admittedly, as we're sitting here talking about $1,000, $1,000,
We use it at Christmas and we use it for all different things.
So
We're talking about stage and build.
some of the things that we've been looking at, there's like amphitheaters that we could put at Fountain Park and at Community Park. One of the ones that we were looking at, now it isn't entirely commercial spec, so it would probably be more than this, but one of them that we looked at that was pretty nice was about $10,000. Doesn't include the building of it and all that, that's just the material. But it might be a lower cost way of doing this so that we have some sort of stage for them to perform without having to do this recurring stage rental. The hope would be that if we were to do some sort of amphitheater or some sort of covered pavilion type thing for people to play under, for the bands to play under, the hope would then to also be able to double utilize it at Community Park for movies in the park. That we would have a covered area where we could have a screen that doesn't have the sun shining on it, and then they'd be able to use the projector instead of having to rent that LCD or the LED screen that we've been renting, which is an additional cost as well. So conceptually, yeah, I guess conceptually the ask is, does the council support the expansion of the Music in the Park series to be from when school gets out until around the time the school goes back, so that entire summer would be every Friday Music in the Park. The only week that would be an exception would be Red Hot Blue, where it would be Saturday instead of Friday.
I'm not sure if this is something for council to decide if we want to expand it or not. I think that Parks and Rec should be putting their budget together for next year, and they should be coming to us with their budget, saying, this is what we're going to spend on the festival, and this is what we're going to spend on the egg hunt, and this is what we're going to spend on the slow roll and stuff, and we want to do all of these things, and we're short X amount of dollars, then they would ask us to supplement their fund.
Sure.
But that would be, yeah, I think that's the Park and Rec's responsibility too. If they want to expand the program, more power to them.
I do think that it should still, because if they do all the work and we have 7 no votes up here, they're wasting time doing that. So if we can just tell them right off the bat.
We're not gonna vote no, if they come with a plan.
No, but I'm saying for the cost, I mean, for them to do the work, it should at least conceptually be approved up here first. For them to go ahead and do the work and get the numbers and everything, and then we can come back and visit it at budget time and say, well, that costs a lot, you know,
Or we could say, okay, instead of 12 weeks, we do 10 weeks.
Exactly.
But
And it may
if
fall
more
into
weeks than
the-
6, I would say.
yeah, there's still,
This
we
is
should still give
purely-
them some kind of green light that say, yeah, we're in
I
favor.
think 12 weeks is a lot.
But by saying yes here, we're saying, yes, we're going to give you whatever you need to make it happen.
Well, that's what I'm saying, conceptually, it should come up here first, because if it's a no up here, we're telling them to waste their time coming up with the budgets.
So should,
No, I think 12 weeks is too much, in my opinion, is you're getting into Labor Day, and then as soon as kids get out of school, I say like maybe 9 weeks.
Yeah, 9 weeks.
Right, 9 weeks.
That's a slow roll.
8 or 9 weeks.
Right, and this is exactly the discussion that we wanted to have, is, because next week is the Parks and Rec meeting, so, you know, we just had the meeting this past Thursday, they said, hey, what about the expansion? I said, well, let's bring it to council and float, what's their opinion? So if 9 weeks is what we're feeling we're comfortable with, that's the direction we can give to Parks and Rec, that then we start planning and putting this all together, the package together of 9 weeks. So.
I'm
Is that-
cutting it in the middle at 9, see how it goes, and then we can adjust from here.
So I think we have kind of an agreement there. I don't think that this is really requiring a motion, because again, it's going to be something that comes back. This is just to give direction to Parks and Rec. Okay, we'll go with the 9 weeks then.
You want all parks work to go?
All right.
I want every single one of them.
So while we're on the subject of the music park, just before we do go off of it, I thought what was really interesting, the survey, 2/3 of the respondents actually said that they prefer to have the music in the park series at Community Park. We were thinking, we were thinking that Fountain Park would be more well received, because then residents would see something's going on in the village, something's going on Main Street. You have Main Street Grill right there as somewhere that's, you know, walkable, that you could go and get a drink, or you can get your dinner or whatnot. But 2/3 of the respondents, both in the survey and a separate post, poll on Facebook, which had a lot of responses. It was 2/3 that said Community Park. So a little bit of a surprise. I thought there was a lot of folks that liked it being at Fountain Park, but a lot more folks like it at Community Park. I think they like that they can let the kids run free at the playground.
Plus, we could save some money on porta johns.
Yeah, there would be a little bit of a cost.
Somebody's gonna be a bathroom at Community Park.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we have the bathroom, but then we also always have a porta john in addition to. So.
Yeah, but that's always there, you're not paying for it extra.
Right. All right, yeah, I mean, it was worth a shot this year. You know, there was some positive feedback, but it seems like the majority really does like it being at Community Park.
Well, and that's where the movies and stuff is too, right? So if we're thinking about a stage, everything's gonna have to be at the same place, it just makes more sense.
Yeah.
But we're kind of here, because it was in town, you know, it's just kind of build that up, that's what our idea was, why it was here.
Well, I get that now, I mean, for the future.
Yeah, and you always had a bounce house there for the kids, but I think it was well received over here as well.
Okay. That said, it brings us to call from the floor. Yes, sir.
Trying to be quick, no 3 minutes. William Durant, 58415, Pembroke. I had mentioned at the beginning of the meeting, I had some concerns about the holiday shutdown. I just want to get my opinion about it. I've been in local municipal government for over 35 years, 3 different municipalities. We never, ever shut down between Never, ever. We work, if residents or somebody needs to come and get a permit or want to pay their water bill, we should be there for them to take care of those residents and anybody else who wants to come in. So, that's my comment. Thanks.
Call from the floor.
Okay, so I'm actually gonna do the address. It's not for me though. Okay, but you can have my address. It's 30011 Clark Street. I'm gonna do my best to explain what was brought to me in the parking lot earlier. There is a resident that is concerned about blight, and she is concerned that there are ordinances in place and they are not being upheld. She wanted to know what was being done about it, and she wanted to express her frustration. Specifically on Main Street, there's a house across from a former funeral home. There's a man out there that's cutting wood, building a whole new house. So anyway, I encouraged her to draft a letter so she could explain it better herself and then bring it to you guys. And that's what I have to say about that. Also, when I was in the parking lot, he gave me a stack of business cards, Brett from Priority Waste. So I don't know who I should give these to, but I don't want them. And then he said he was coming back, but I don't know. So I'll just leave these right here.
Sure. Yeah.
Thank you.
Next one. Call from the floor.
The community park, and I had the opportunity to be there this morning walking, and it was at least 3 vehicles that came. One came, and I don't know, I mean, I know we have dogs pick up the bags, but they literally let their dogs out, go use the bathroom out there, and bring the dog back out in the truck and took off. So I'm just saying, I thought we had rules, but I know evidently there's none about pets. That is not a pet park. And with the new AstroTurf that's out there, we ought to think about not having animals in the park. I'm an animal lover, but to come out there and let their dogs urine and do number 2, that's just not acceptable.
That makes sense.
Thank you. Call from the floor.
Good evening. Just real quick, I want to just let everybody know that the Village of New Haven, something when we took over, we wanted to bolster our risk management and our emergency management teams within the village. So Tyler here is actually emergency manager, is our emergency manager for the village. He's got quite a few degrees, one of those guys that likes to go to school. So also the guy that is instrumental in bringing our NAMT training center to the village here. Tyler's also a police officer. So very knowledgeable guy. He's also our EMS coordinator just recently within the last a couple months got certified for that, which means that we're able to bring in our own continuing educations here to the village within our department. So I wanted to introduce you to Tyler. Tyler is our emergency manager. He goes to all kinds of meetings, represents us in the county. Both Tyler and myself are currently in a program called the PEM program, which is called the Michigan Professional Emergency Manager. We're about 3/4 done almost, so we'll be taking a big state test here probably sometime next year. But I just want to introduce you to Tyler and let him know, and let the council know that we do have an emergency manager and that he is doing his due diligence on our behalf. Thank you.
Call from the floor. Call from the table. Seeing none, motion to order.
So moved.
Support.
Motion to adjourn at 8:44, all in favor?
Aye.